In the 1980s, fantasy role-playing game Dungeons and Dragons excited Americans to the consternation of many adults. In 1983, a basic set version, known as the Red Box, featured the groundbreaking art of a Kentucky artist, Grayson County's own Larry Elmore. Larry's rise to prominence as one of D&D's preeminent illustrators began after being drafted during the Vietnam War and sent to Fort Knox.
I got stationed at training aids when I got out of basic training, and I wrote, you fill out your dream sheet, that's what they call it, dream sheet, what you'd like to do in the Army. Of course, you'd like to go home. but I'm like, I'm good at art. I got a bachelor's degree in art.
So he wound up drawing army manuals, battle plans, mechanical details of tanks and helicopters, and even a top-secret assignment inside the gold bullion repository.
Like I said, I was working at Fort Knox as a military, in-house artist. When I come home, I was painting fantasy paintings.
While at Fort Knox, Larry played D&D for the first time with a friend on lunch break, and he wound up being late getting back to work.
And so the game was just unreal. I never played a game like it. And I like games. And so I never played a game like that in my life. A game with rules, but no rules. And so when we was playing it, I didn't think about working there or anything, but I knew the art. I know some of the old artists, but some of the early art wasn't very good.
The idea of being a professional artist grew in Larry's head thanks to some counterculture media, so he started sending his artwork out for consideration.
National Lampoon was the first one to call me. Then they called me up, give me a job, and then Heavy Metal started up. I started doing some stuff for them. And that helped build my portfolio, especially any heavy metal work. And the fantasy paintings I was doing for myself at home on my own time.
The strength of his growing portfolio led to a job offer from Tactical Studies Resources, known as TSR, and founded by tabletop gaming pioneer Gary Gygax.
Well, I told them no. I told you that already, didn't I? I told them no 3 times. And finally, they made me an offer I couldn't refuse. I thought, well, even if the company folds up in 5 or 6 years, at least my art's been out there all over the place to a whole generation. It's got to help. And I won't be drawing tanks the rest of my life.
But quickly, Larry realized that it wasn't just a well-paying job. Working on Dungeons and Dragons was an incredible opportunity for his creativity.
A lot of times, and the artists and the writers and all the creative people said, "Can you believe we're working here?" I couldn't believe it. It was like a dream come true.
So you were aware at the time how unusual of a scenario.
How could you be paid, well paid, painting things from your imagination?
Paintings from Larry's imagination found their way into bedrooms, living rooms, libraries, and comic book stores across the country. As the rise of Dungeons and Dragons came in the 1980s, it was Larry's art that was featured on the box cover and manual of the D&D basic set, the crucial component for anyone wanting to join the phenomenon. This version was on the market for almost a decade, solidifying Larry's role as one of the most important D&D artists. Retired and doing the occasional freelance job is enough for Larry today. He lives with his wife in Litchfield, Kentucky, travels to conventions occasionally, and sells prints and originals to rich, famous, and everyday enthusiasts.
It's been a lot of fun, and here's the thing, if you enjoy your work, you'll work yourself to death.